You are listening to Maximum Pew Pew, an actual play RPG podcast. Maximum Pew Pew follows continuous storylines that are meant to be enjoyed from the beginning. This episode follows the Chariot of the Gods storyline and may contain spoilers for the Alien RPG Starter Kit scenario published by Free League. The following segments may contain mature themes, adult language, and graphic depictions of violence.
There are certainly some anomalies here. How many crew were aboard the Cronus?
The USCSS Cronus departed with 17 crew aboard.
And the crew of the Montero found 7 cryopods occupied and 2 dead in the chamber. Wonder where the other 10 went. I guess we will find out.
Loading file, Chariot of the Gods. 3. Subject, USCSS Cronus, Maintenance. Caution, the following transmission contains graphic depictions of violence.
And now I'm not so sure I want to find out.
Oh, got some bad news for you.
Oh, what's that?
We got some survivors.
No, actually, that's... I mean, I was talking about salvage earlier because the question that Rye asked, but to be honest, if that was me, I'd sure as hell want someone to find me, so I'm all good.
That's fair.
Now, honestly, it would take just as much time and be just as effective if you clean them versus trying to find where on this ship there might be some new ones.
That's fair.
It boils down to the same type of check.
All right, so let's clean them. Me and Chan are going to clean them. What is that?
So here's the deal. Only one person can roll, but others can help. So first of all, you two are examining this thing. Both of you give me that observation roll. Take a -2 on it. Because it's so loud.
What?
It's going to be...
I said it's loud!
Observation is key to wits, yeah. So
I got 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay. So...
I got 1.
You're at
You got
-2.
1. Okay. So you both...
All the suit, because it's odd.
No,
because it's loud.
The noise in there of all the dripping water and fans and things.
So...
I rolled too many then.
You both see it. But Rye will actually get some additional information. You see in certain areas, like not all over the place, but in certain areas in this shaft now, what appear to be almost like a size of like ostrich eggs. There's like multiple like clusters of egg sacs all around here. You feel like you could probably do this work without like disturbing them, but it's a little bit unusual. Like it strikes you as a bit odd. Now, Rye, since you got an extra success, you can know the answer to one of these questions. Is it coming for me?
Yes.
Are there more of them close by?
Yes.
How do I get in /past /away?
No.
Is it coming for me?
So they're eggs. So
yeah, the things inside the eggs,
well,
are they coming for me? Right? I don't know what to be honest with you, I don't know a question to ask because they're eggs. Like, right. I want to know, like...
They appear... So all of them appear to be dormant. You don't see them moving around. It doesn't look like anything's moving around in them. That being said, you probably don't know of a way to actually check.
Right.
You just figure, like, this is weird, they're eggs, but they, for all intents and purposes, they're dormant.
Okay. I'm going to relay to the captain.
It's still highly unusual.
Yeah. Also, it is important
really used to dealing with alien
for me
life.
to let you know that when you get bonus questions like that, I have to tell the truth. I cannot lie to you. Now, I might not give you like the full truth. I can't outright lie to you. When I say that they appear dormant, they appear dormant.
Okay.
Okay.
I need you all to know that I'm not going to purposely mislead you if you get successes on your stuff. That's not how this game works.
Okay. So, they seem dormant. I'm going to let the captain know, hey, whatever this crew is working on seems to have gotten a little bit out of containment.
Yeah, I don't feel good
I'd
about
say we
this.
need to put it back in containment.
Do you know how to move some weird eggs? Because I've never seen these. Ain't no chicken eggs. Is that what something they teach you corporate suits? How to
No,
move
but
weird
they do
eggs?
teach us to put weird things in safe places so that we can take them back to the eggheads.
Well, you're wearing yourself a containment suit. Unless there's a specific bonus for me doing the work, I think you're just as qualified to move weird, strange eggs as the rest of us.
Possibly even more qualified.
But you know, money is a pretty good lubrication that greases quite a few wheels.
How many brownie points are you looking at in my report? Because it's starting to get uncomfortable in here. Anyways, well, there's a science lab on this place, and there's a med lab. So it might be worthwhile to relocate them there, so at least it'll be out of the way of running the scrubbers.
Well,
And we can lock the doors and put them under quarantine.
well, what do you think?
Because, I mean, it is pretty standard corporate stuff that
I'm
if
not
you find
touching
any
it.
sort of xenomorphic life, that you bring samples home. That's probably what they're doing.
It's not heavy and it's not machinery, so I'm not touching it.
I don't have a light egg skill.
Yeah.
A light egg skill? Do you have a get paid skill?
Oh shit, I have a get paid skill. Alright, suit. I'll move these for you down to the science
Look, I'll
lab.
come help.
Well, that's good. I just, in your report, you might want to leave out that extra help you put in there and just, give me all them brownie points.
God, that was a joke.
All right.
Hey,
No, but
you're telling the bank that I'm worth paying.
I feel like this conversation would have been a lot more interesting if the captain were here. She's probably rolling her eyes right now. But let's. Do I ever find the logs that I'm looking for?
Yeah, so let's see if we can find any additional information for you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I found weird eggs in the air scrubber shaft, and I told you about it.
You what?
I found weird eggs
There's egg sacs in the
about
air
the size of
shaft.
ostrich eggs.
These eggs are dormant. We know that.
Okay, so they're not.
Right.
Yeah, my suggestion was to move them to the science lab and seal them up.
Okay, so we know for a fact that these eggs are harmless.
Yes.
In and of
The
themselves.
word I
Dormant.
used was dormant.
Yeah, they're also thawing. I think we should move them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cold storage. Do we have cold storage somewhere on the ship?
There
that's
is
not?
a thing on the there's a thing on the
We got
charts called med pods in the next to med lab.
We got cryo base too.
There's Science Lab 1, Science Lab 2.
But these are ostrich egg sized, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they're like about yay big.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we could shove them all into a cryoprod and hit the deep freeze button.
Not a bad idea. Just to drive that home.
All right.
Little did they know it was a bad idea.
No,
I
I'm sure you got the same briefing I did in captain school that said in the contract that says xenomorphic materials are worth bonus points.
How?
You got that briefing. I didn't.
Oh no, I'm fairly certain you read your contract too.
I'd say it's been a turn. Everybody make a air check here.
Oh
So you
my.
roll the same number of dice as you have air. And if you have any ones, you reduce your air by...
Woo,
You
fantastic.
rolled like I did.
I'm going to blame you for this because I just rolled a pair of ones
Oh,
for
hell.
arguing with you.
I
That's
took,
okay.
I took it
That's
easy that
okay.
round.
Because you were all like, big bonuses associated with these weird eggs things, and I was all like, cha-ching.
They wanted samples.
Let's do it with fervor.
We will say that as this conversation's going on, some of the first individuals are waking up from their cryo sleep.
People are waking up. We're arguing while I'm detaching eggs. Sounds like a good thing.
Do you have like something to put those in, or are you just going to carry them all?
I don't know. I can just kind of roll them, line them all up, roll them.
Put them all on a pallet.
There are about 5 individuals that begin to wake up from their slumber. Appears to be 3 males and 2 females. Yep. They begin to wake up. All of them are extremely disoriented as they come awake. And, we had talked about your own waking earlier and how rough that was, but this is indeed a completely different beast.
They've been asleep for 3/4 of a century.
Right. No, I mean, this is full Ripley
from that.
here.
That is...
Yeah, about your grandkids. They've got grandkids.
Whoops. But they come awake. They are extremely disoriented.
We're going to need the air scrubbers running.
Yeah, we are. We can't get them out of there until those are back up and running.
Okay. The good news is that the oxygen levels are sufficient for breathing. The bad news is that your carbon dioxide's also high.
It's probably going to give them like headaches and stuff, but they can still survive.
Well, at least headaches. Headaches are going to be the least of their worries.
It's
cause them to panic.
It's not a fatal level, but it's
going to put them off their game.
Who can give me a
Carbogen is a thing.
I don't know if they're going to be willing to stick them out. I'm not even there, so.
Who can give me medical aid?
I can.
I've got some if you want.
No, anybody can make this one.
That's based off of wits?
Yeah, medical aid is based off of empathy.
2 successes.
2 successes. This is going to be enough. Looking at the carbon dioxide levels, you know that it's not going to be toxic for a few days.
Okay.
But it's at a level where like your body's going to actively reject taking deep breaths.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that's going to be really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They're going to be loopy after a couple hours.
Well, and also you all are too, because some of you are running about 60% oxygen at the moment. So eventually you're going to have to
take off our suits.
All right. Well, we should be I will help manhandle eggs into storage. Okay. If we've got empty cryopods or cryopods with just corpses in them, we can shove them in there.
Well, they're just down on deck B, and I can probably use the shaft itself because there's access to the shaft, it seems like, on every deck.
Maybe. There's an extra line on A that is not there on B or C.
Yeah, I don't see.
Well, that's where cryo is, so that works. Hand them up. We'll move them.
Okay.
Yeah, so Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie all have access. So we've got Rye and we've got Wilson. They're going to start doing Bucket Brigade with the eggs. Okay.
Yeah. Is there one of the cryo chambers that's unoccupied? Or is
so wait, are we putting them in the cryo chambers, or are we putting them in a science lab?
Well, we haven't examined the science lab yet, so let's put them in the cryos. I mean, we can deep freeze them; they'll be fine.
Let's find out. Let's say all the people had concentrated in cryo 2, so 1 and 3 are actually unoccupied.
Okay. If that's the case, let's put them in 1, so we can then lock that door.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna be real honest with you, though.
This is a bad idea?
As I'm carrying eggs into a cryo chamber, and there's 2 dead people.
Mm-hmm.
Why are there only 7 people on this ship?
That's a real good question.
Excellent question.
Because there's supposed to be 10 more.
Well, see, that's one of those things that was in the log I've been trying to get a hold of for.
Yeah, so when you're
Are we
done,
holding off on that log
All right,
for
so-
dramatic effect?
No, it's just, I'll be honest, everything else kind of overpowers it, and I keep forgetting.
We'll get there eventually.
It's the boring exposition.
Also-
He's trying to
okay,
get to the fun
at this
part.
point, we can pause so that he can fill in the blank as to why there are
Right. So while we're doing this, I will explain what I found in the logs.
Yeah.
Please do.
So here's how
Please do.
here's how the logs are going to work. It's not as much a log as it's you. This is one of the older models where you're going to have to type in your questions.
Right.
They didn't get
But
Siri.
let's have a Wilson mother conversation right now.
Okay. Click, 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 click.
Yeah.
Click, click,
So
click, click,
you've
click.
got like dramatic camera pans to Wilson clicking at the
Yeah,
keyboard
that
and then to the
green-
monitor.
and that green text, yeah.
The nice
It
thing-
sounds
with the
like a
noise.
dot matrix
nice thing
printer,
is-
even though it's
Why
not
does a
printing
monitor
anything.
make that sound?
The nice
That's
thing is,
concerning.
the nice
It's to
thing
get people to
is,
look at the screen.
So yeah, what questions are you asking?
All right, I will just put like well, I assume that since this is that the captain would keep logs of some sort, so I'll just like first off, I'll bring up retrieve last communications with USCS the USCSS Cronus.
The last communications.
Yeah.
The last communications appear to be a recorded SOS put on repeat by Second Officer Wick Johns,
Okay.
who is now the acting officer of the Cronus due to attrition.
Attrition. Something tells me the captain wasn't fired. Okay. And is that the one that we heard looping on the?
It's much cleaner.
All right. Well, let's play it.
You play the message. There is a gentleman. Basically, looks like this guy right here.
Yeah.
So
he looks like Chuck Norris that doesn't shave.
Sure, with the scraggly hair.
Mm-hmm.
In a panicked voice, he's kind of recording. This is Second Officer Johns of the USCSS Cronus. We are going into hypersleep. There's too many of the crew have changed, and we can't think of a better way to save ourselves. We're sending Ava to maintain the ship and set us on the right course. We're barricading ourselves in the cryopods, and we're just going to hope for the best. Maybe if we shut everything down, it'll stop these things. I don't know, but if you hear this, please, we're in desperate need of assistance. The Second Officer John's out.
All right. So okay. This would be like, no, really, we want to take these eggs and we want to put them in the deep freeze.
Do we have a bigger freezer?
All right. So that was the last communication.
Yeah.
Ship status. Query ship status.
Air scrubbers, offline. Carbon dioxide levels, nearing upper limits. Elevator 2, offline.
So what did you find out so far? Oh, he's looking up ship status.
That the crew were changing.
They were changing.
Yes, too many of the crew have changed. And the captain's dead. How about the drives and control systems?
Radiation detected in the reactor relay control. Pilot Station 1, offline. Pilot Station 2, low power. Holographic display, offline.
So while we're moving eggs and clearing out the air scrubbers, and freezing them.
So let me stop you right there.
Yeah. So
I've been, and that's part of the reason why I've been distracted is because for the last 20 minutes people have been talking about moving eggs.
I'll be telling all of this stuff.
Yeah. We all gonna die, aren't we?
So,
we all just gonna die.
Who's the first one to physically get near an egg?
Probably me.
Okay. Because this might not go down as you had envisioned originally.
That's fine.
So you are in a process of, you're in this air scrubber shaft. And you are kind of examining this thing, trying to figure, you're doing like the Indiana Jones thing where you're trying to figure out how to like come at this egg to like detach it with the least amount of
egg disturbance.
Yeah.
You got your Gordon Freeman crowbar.
Apparently getting within about 2 inches of this thing constitutes as egg disturbance, and you will see it open up at the top like some disgusting membranous sphincter, and out of it comes this almost sand-like aerosol, and it just kind of aerosolizes everywhere. And as it aerosolizes, like it kind of starts to accumulate around the vents of your mask. It can't get in because you're sealed off completely, but it sort of like accumulates around the vents. And you could swear that it was almost trying to like attack like your eyes, nose, mouth, ear, any place where it could find like entrance into your body.
It was like this dust?
Yes.
Oh, that's not good.
Pollen's bad this year.
Some of it's trying to get to you. The other just kind of like doesn't fight it, and it lets, these air scrubbers and stuff kind of carry it into.
Oh my God.
For the podcast, Miller has hands over mouth in a panicked reverie.
All right, so we didn't actually move any of the eggs yet.
No.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen. He's going to be telling us, yeah, we definitely need to do these eggs because craziness.
Yeah, because they were talking about how other members of the crew had changed and that they had put themselves in cryo, hoping someone would come and help them out.
All right, so we did
given that the roster said that the captain was no longer around due to attrition. Something tells me that didn't mean fired.
All right.
Miller, I imagine that you're probably still checking on the remainder of the crew of the Cronus.
Right. I am so
you're some of them start like some of them start coming to. But it's like after that heavy sleep, and not a single one of them seems to know like where they are right now. Like they are, I don't want to say delirious, but like they just almost like they'd come out of a coma. Like that would be the best way for me to describe it to you, is they came out of a coma, and much like how a ship has to start everything up, their brain.
They're still in the booting sequence.
Yeah, they're still booting. Like BIOS is.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to forget what I know out of character and get back into that in character state where I am ignorant as hell.
That's okay, because these people are waking up. I'm telling you, I'm like, hey, I found these weird eggs, and he's all like, you should move them, and I'm like, all right. And so while these people are waking up, I'm like, so development, you might want to keep on that spacesuit because one of these eggs things just kind of semi-opened up and released a bunch of weird sand spore things.
Fuck.
And the air scrubbers kind of shot them all over the ship. Good news about the bad news. Can't penetrate the filters on your suit.
That is good news.
So as long as you wear your suit, you're not going to breathe it in. By and by, how are those cryo people doing?
Just putting them back in the pods.
That's probably a good idea, Captain.
All right, everybody, back in you go. Oh God,
you're putting them back in.
I'm putting them back in.
Because I don't know what that is, but
Let's not find out.
I'm pretty sure we're under quarantine at this point.
That would be correct.
Okay.
That would be correct.
Oh God, no. Not
So
quarantine.
here,
Too late.
this is going to require, I'm going to call it Comtech, because
Cool. That's wits.
the reason I say this is because this is kind of against normal protocol, taking someone out and then back in, and you're going to have to sort of like override Mother in this regard.
Yeah, Mother's gonna be like.
I feel like I've got enough
This is
medical
dangerous.
aid to know how the fuck quarantine works. Fuck. Is it possible they've already been exposed? Fuck.
The logs made it sound like they hadn't, and that they were barricading themselves.
That's a success.
Okay. You are able to engage an override. So you're telling these delirious individuals, they're like, you're kind of like
Back in.
pushing their forehead back in here. You want to put them all in?
Yes.
Okay. So you're kind of pushing them back in. The thing sort of shuts. You get 4 of them in.
Okay.
Most of them are kind of complaining, like, "Oh, where am I?" Whatever. One of them, this gentleman right here, sort of a older gentleman with kind of the glasses on the side because he didn't wear them in the pot or anything, keeps complaining about a headache. Like, he's groaning in pain. Like, the whole time he's been out, he's been like making just inhuman noises. Like, it sounds like grotesque.
Okay.
Like,
I'm embracing it at this point.
Yeah.
We all gonna die.
As they're all shutting, and for whatever reason, his is last because it has to be, because he's the last one to sort of like calm down.
Yep.
Blood seeps out of his nose and ears.
Wow.
Bloody eyes roll over white as the scientist convulses and writhes inside of this cryo chamber. So you all, like, you try to push him in there, like, you know,
we're trying to put him back in.
He's thrashing.
He's having none of this.
Busy trying to help the convulsing scientist, you don't stop to ask what's going on.
Nope.
In the depths of a seizure now, Cooper flails about at everything and everyone. With a sickening pop and a bloody splash, his eyeball launches from his face and mashes into Miller before bouncing across the floor and rolling under a cryotube. This time, you pause, trying to process exactly what it is you're seeing.
I just got hit by an eyeball.
Yeah.
That warrants a pause.
A slender, gore-covered arm pushes its way out of Cooper's empty eye socket, reaches around and tugs at its distended mouth. As spindly white fingers yank his teeth back, Cooper does not scream. It's clear that he isn't in his own head anymore. Something else is, and it wants out.
Is that a guts check? That's not a thing.
Flesh
That's
tears
not
and
this game.
tendons snap as the thing inside his splintering skull pulls his face open right at the jawline. Finally, a thick gurgling sound wells up inside Cooper as his head is ripped from his body, his neck gushing as whatever was inside him plops to the floor in a burst of blood. The translucent white thing on the floor sloughs off its placenta, struggling to stand on 4 wobbly, fawn-like legs. Shaking brain matter from its spiky hide, the bloodburster turns its bulbous, eyeless head towards you and crouches.
So I'm just going to let you know that I've never heard the word placenta used so effectively ever. So a little weird 4-legged eyeless beast creature tore its way out of the doctor's skull?
Yes.
Yeah.
All I know is I'm screaming at Davis, get the fuck out, and we're trying to back out the door of this room as quickly as possible.
You should also shoot it.
That. I do have a gun.
Yeah.
Which gun do I have?
Okay. So,
I have a harpoon.
let's talk about how
Stuff happens.
initiative works in this game. We don't roll initiative. You actually take some cards numbered 1 through 10, and you assign them to everyone. Now, this creature, this bloodburster, has a speed of 2, and what that means is that it actually draws 2 cards from initiative. So let's find out what everybody got, shall we? Davis got a 4. Miller, you got a 3.
Cool.
Rye got a 9, if you can pass that down. You got a 7.
Yay, 7.
That's Wilson. Chan got a 2.
Thank you, sir.
And then the 2 for the Bloodburster are 5 and 10. We are at top of the queue. Now, I gave you all a pamphlet of like kind of rule stuff.
Yes, you did.
So everybody gets a fast action and a slow action. It's very similar to like your Starfinder, your Pathfinder, anything like that. Your attacks are going to be slow, your movements and stuff are going to be fast. You get one of each. So we can kind of work through this together because this is going to be everybody's first combat, including my own. So Cham, you are up.
I guess I'm going to shoot at it.
So were you all in the same room? Like,
I don't know. I was wondering.
Well, no, we could be very close because you were in cryo.
Well, we were bringing eggs up.
Yeah,
we didn't get to the point where we could move an egg.
Well, no, but we were getting ready to. We were getting ready to move things from the air scrubber to cryo bay. So
I'm cool.
Miller was definitely in the room.
Yeah, because I was putting people back into cryopods.
I'll say that.
Fuck.
I'll say that by using your fast action, you can get into that room.
Okay. And then I just do a ranged attack with the bolt gun.
Yeah, you want to shoot it with a bolt gun? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did that... so the bolt gun does not get a bonus to your attack roll, so you're just going to roll straight ranged attack. The damage of the bolt gun is actually 3. So we'll talk about that in a second. It also has armor piercing and single shot. Now, because you are dealing with a small target, I actually need you to take 2 dice off of your roll.
1.
So, well, close attack or range combat is going to be keyed off of agility. So, so you're slinging 1 die.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
you should just smash it.
Miller,
maybe that
could you go ahead and mark me a stress as well because you watched that happen?
That's
better.
Entirely.
Can I switch to close combat instead?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that because it's way better.
Okay. So, what are you going to hit it with?
Wrench.
Okay.
I'm sure I got a wrench.
Slam
on
the
me
lid
all
of the
time.
cryo bay on top of it. Just
So, basically, a blunt instrument. What you're going to do is...
like a big crescent wrench or something.
Yeah. So, blunt instruments, you actually get a +1 bonus for your attack, so you'll add a die. Its base damage is 1. We'll talk a little bit more about that. It doesn't have any armor, piercing, or anything like that. So, yeah, go ahead and roll all that sweet.
Yeah.
Got 2.
2. Okay.
Yahtzee.
So, well, Yahtzee with like
5s.
8 dice right now. So save those 2 6s right now. In the packet that I gave you, there should be a page that talks about close combat a little bit, and it should tell you what you can do with those bonus successes. One thing you can do is do bonus damage, but there's also some effects that you can apply as well if you want to.
Is it under resolution, maybe?
Probably
Yes,
resolution.
The first resolution. Because it says
The second one's
if
like...
you're close combat.
Yeah. So you actually got 2 successes, which the first success means that you're going to do 1 damage, which is the base damage of the weapon.
Okay.
The simplest thing you could do with the extra successes is do 1 additional damage to the creature.
Okay.
But there are other things you can do too. You can do things like disarm, you can grapple, you can knock them on the ground.
Could we shove it into the cryoprod so we could lock it up and freeze it?
It says you can pin your enemy in a tight clinch. See grappling below.
You want to grapple it? That's probably
I'm
directly
going to heavily recommend the fuck against that.
Like,
Yeah. You can grapple it if you want.
I
It just
also
tore
feel
its
like,
way out of a guy's head.
yeah, you run
I
into the
know,
room,
but like
and
if
there's
we
like
can freeze
an evil
it, we
black
don't have
midget.
to fight it.
That's true,
Yeah.
but you
And,
got to get
you've
it
already got it
into-
cycling.
There's an evil black midget and blood and a dead dude. Lots and lots of blood.
Yeah.
Because if
Oh,
your
there's
head gets ripped apart from the inside out,
And
it
there's
doesn't
an
bleed
eyeball
just a
under the
little.
counter.
Yeah, because the
Somebody's
heart's
gonna have
still
to
working.
get that before the cat
Yeah,
finds
it
it.
doesn't just bleed a little. It goes pretty bonkers.
Yeah.
Was there a thing in there that like changes the position of something, or
You can switch your initiative with him.
well, I mean like physical?
It is your opponent falls prone. You can knock or pull a weapon or other object from your opponent, and you can pin your enemy in a tight clinch. See grappling below.
So I can try to put him in the cryo.
Not with the
close combat. Okay, I'll just do extra point of damage.
Okay, so that means that you're going to do 2 points of damage.
Yeah, you'd probably have had to grapple and move it.
Oh, it has armor. So let's roll armor. This thing was fresh.
It's still soft.
Oh boy, was it soft. It should have.
It's hasn't had time to harden up. It's not been out of the womb long enough.
Actually, this thing has 2 health. The thing is, when you reduce it to 0, it has a critical injury table that I roll on, so it might not stick. So let me roll on the critical. Holy crap! How do you destroy this thing? Because the critical injury on this is literally torn apart. I want to know how you destroy this thing almost beyond recognition.
I just beat the shit out of it with that crescent wrench.
You get like, so you get like this one like sickeningly good hit because everything's got a head, right?
Right, yeah.
So you know the head's...
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going for the head.
You hear it and it makes a crunch and it's almost like, you know how sometimes you get like a wasp and you like stomp it, but it's still sort of like moving, so you just like, you bam, 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 like really lay into this thing. It lets out a final shriek, but it is severely mutilated at this point.
Yeah.
I made my armor check, rolled 2 1s and a 2. So, and then when I rolled the critical injury, I rolled a 6. It was meant for this thing to go down in one shot. Well, I mean, combat's real simple in this game, not brutal at all. I mean, it's very heavily favored towards the players. I don't see what all the complaints are about.
So something clawed out of his head, and then everyone's freaking out, and then
That's how I'm
Chum walks
describing it,
in,
sure.
and then Cham walks in and smashes it into paste with a monkey wrench.
Oh yeah, just beating the crap out of it.
And I'm still
rushing, going, what happened? Oh,
yeah, and I'm just
find someplace to puke.
I'm just all like
Inside your suit.
I'm like, these eggs
There's
are
that.
weird, and that's what I'm doing right now.
All right, yeah, deep breath.
Don't puke in your suit. That'd be bad. That'd be real bad.
Start swallowing real fast.
You'd be wearing it for a long time.
Let me check here. I don't think anybody gains any crazy stress or anything from it.
That actually should.
I should be
you out
rolling
pretty
my
bad.
stress every roll, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like
I may have missed a
No,
couple.
it's fine.
but
If you have stress,
keep that
you
in
add
front
stress
of me.
dice to your rolls because it increases your chance
Cool.
of success or anything.
It's the adrenaline bonus.
I love it.
Yeah, so you turn this thing to paste, and technically this would be the end of Act 1. So, let's take a look at our objectives
All
for
right.
everybody. So,
Do these become public knowledge?
no, they
now?
don't.
Okay.
They're still
Okay.
secret. I've got a copy, and you have a copy.
Fantastic.
All right.
So, Miller, for example,
Yep. thought
I
did
believe you achieved it.
I did pretty good there
So-
up until the end.
You're going to gain a story point.
Cool.
Now, story points are specific to the player, not the character. So, if the character dies, the player still has their story points.
Cool. That's
Nice.
good. Otherwise, those would be gone a lot.
Davis isn't playing. Rye, you get a story point.
Sweet.
Cool.
Let me guess. You try to get promoted. You try to get money.
Wilson, you get a story point.
You know what, Wilson? You don't know me.
I've been in this group for 6 months.
Cham, you get a story point.
You are not deep.
There's 2 more acts. There's 2 more acts.
It's a 3-act gig.
Yep.
The role of Mother was played by Puddles of the Strange Gods podcast. Ambient music provided by Tabletop Audio. Original 10-minute ambiances and music for games and stories. Find out more at tabletopaudio.com.